We're talking Super Bowl because we're the Miami Dolphins.
God. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Designated Podcast. Today's May 16th, 2020. This is episode 6 of the Designated Podcast, and today I am joined here by Jacob.
What's up, guys?
And Joss.
What's up?
And Jack.
What's up,
Hello.
guys?
We're also joined. We're joined today by a special guest. We're joined by our good friend Finn, who is from the Sporting Kansas City fan group chat.
Would
What's
you
poppin'?
like to say the name of the group chat, please?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Better known as the fan club #tie-out.
Yes, sir.
Tie out is still a thing, bro.
Yeah,
It's been in the
Main,
name.
You're canceled, buddy. You're
It is
done.
It has been in
The
the name.
K-pop stands are going to your mentions.
Do not put the K-pop stance in the mentions of Ty J Main.
Yeah, no man deserves that.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, today we've got a pretty interesting episode because we actually have some soccer to talk about. The Bundesliga has been the big talk over the past couple of weeks in the soccer community worldwide. The Bundesliga is back. It is the first major soccer league to return. And I have to say, it's been pretty entertaining so far, honestly. There have been some pretty fun games to watch.
Well, it is the best league in Europe, so
You know
respect it.
I will not argue with that.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, literally any team in Germany is.
Oh.
Wait, hold up.
Just moved to Joss.
There we go.
I have no idea what happened, bro. It just cut out on my phone.
Anyways,
like,
as I was saying, bro, any
My
team in
bad.
Germany. No, bro, listen, hear me out. No. There it is.
I'm on the edge, bro. I swear to God.
Listen, hear me out. Josh, can you agree with this statement? Any team
me
in
hear it.
Germany, bro, is better than Wolverhampton.
Oh, easily.
Oh my god.
Easily, bro.
100%.
Honestly,
Oh,
if you
no.
put Paderborn in the Molyneux, bro, they would win 5-0.
Easy.
They would run rampant, bro, on Patricio.
5-0, that's it?
Okay,
Yeah, bro,
4-0, 5-0 if they had Kyrie Shelton.
Alright, listen. I'm glad we got Kyrie Shelton. That's all.
Kyrie Shelton, who, as of right now, is second in terms of best rating in all of MLS. Best match rating, only behind
Respect
Carlos
Yes,
Vela.
sir.
Respect them, please.
But we're not here to talk about MLS or Kyrie Shelton right now.
No, because it's not active, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Although, I'm always down for talking about Kyrie Shelton.
I am as well, but we'll save that conversation for another day probably. But the Bundesliga is back. There have been some pretty big results today. I think the most notable, Dortmund beating Schalke 4-0.
No, you would say that's the
in
most
their
notable.
derby.
Of course you would.
It's the biggest scoreline, Jack. Come on, give me a break, bro.
Bro, we literally scored 4 in our game combined, bro.
You
Three.
guys
No, bro.
Oh, it's combined?
Schalke didn't even score, bro. We both had 4-goal games.
Amongst the other results,
That's true.
Amongst the other results, and this is just in order of time, so I'm not saying it in order of like importance. Leipzig drew Freiburg 1-1. Berlin beat Hoffenheim 3-0. Dusseldorf drew Paderborn 0-0. Augsburg.
0-0.
I'm gonna say 0. I don't care.
Dusseldorf,
Hey,
Paderborn, bro.
Who's West
What a
Rivals,
game.
bro? Nil
That
one.
is-
Who's who says 0-0?
I don't know, man. I don't know where I got that from. Probably Nate
Bro.
Bukaty, honestly. He's probably said it before. Let's be honest.
Probably.
Bro, we need to talk about Freiburg beating Leipzig. That's what we need to talk about.
We'll talk. They didn't beat them. We'll talk about that in a
They
second.
Bro,
could've
yes,
beat
they
them. They
did,
could've.
bro.
It's a 1-1 win for Freiburg.
He
That
literally
is
just said they
exactly-
drew.
No, bro, they didn't. They won in my heart.
I have-
VAR them so bad, bro.
Wolfsburg beat Augsburg 2-1, and Borussia Mönchengladbach beat
Thank you.
Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then,
we did.
and then tomorrow we've also got.
It should have been 4-1, to be honest.
Yeah,
Should've been
probably.
like six.
I watched it. They easily could have had it like 6-1.
Bro, I don't know how Hoffman missed that empty netter. Like, that
I
was-
saw that. That was
yeah,
that
like
was
good work
crazy.
from Hinteregger, but
Yeah,
Hoffman should.
But anyways, as we're recording this tomorrow, there's also FC. I can never say their name right. Cologne.
It's Cologne.
Cologne.
It's
Yeah.
like Kun.
Cologne. I don't know.
No,
Cologne.
bro, you pronounce it Cologne, literally. It's Cologne.
Okay. Yeah, Cologne versus Mainz, and then Union Berlin versus league leaders Bayern Munich.
Yes, sir. Up the Berlin.
Up the Berlin. We're all rooting for them tomorrow.
I swear to God, if Bobby Wood's former team does
I was
not
about to say
do it,
former home of Bobby Wood.
Big man Bobby.
is he still in Hamburg?
I don't know where. I think he's at
He's at Hanover, isn't he?
He got relegated
No.
last year.
No, he's at it's a blue team. I can't think of what it is. I think it's Hamburg.
I could have sworn he was still with Hanna. Or no, he is with Hamburg.
Let's go.
Can we get a fact checker?
Yeah, I'm fact checking.
Yeah,
I just
I
fact
was
checked. I'm not.
We're a professional podcast, so.
Oh, he was on loan last year at
yeah.
Hanover.
That's why Hanover got sent down. He's a curse.
But yeah. One of our main
Sorry,
topics.
Bobby, I love you.
One of our main topics of discussion is we were just going to talk about the return of the Bundesliga in general and what it can mean for soccer in the sports world. That was our first topic of discussion. If anybody wants to go ahead.
All right, I got it.
Yes, Joss, you go.
So I went on the West Ham fan show last week, and we
don't
talked
care.
about this as
Oh,
well. No, we
no.
talked about this as well, and we talked about how, I feel like the Bundesliga will be back for maybe this match week, and then maybe next one, but then someone's gonna get sick,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna call it.
But then again, last week I said, when I believe it was Freiburg had 3 confirmed cases. And in fact, this is in my notes. It just says Jules was wrong, Lamau. I said last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now, that I did not think the Bundesliga would actually return this weekend because of those cases. But I mean, again, Jules was wrong, Lamau. So
it's gonna take one thing, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna be a domino effect.
I definitely think, if anything, we're probably going to see cases by next weekend.
But I mean, yeah.
Definitely.
But before I don't know if it happens before the games next weekend or too close to them. I think that I don't know if it happens too close to the games, then I think we'll definitely see the games next weekend.
Well, to be fair to clubs in the Bundesliga, they've done an exceptional job of making sure that teams and players are following the rules.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You had Solomon Kalou for Hertha. He broke the rules. He shook some hands. I think he high-fived a couple staff members. So Hertha suspended him for 2 weeks.
Cancelled.
Solomon Kalou was over party. Augsburg's coach broke quarantine to get toothpaste, and so he didn't sit on the bench for their game, or he won't sit on the bench. I think they played a day. Yeah, they played a day. He didn't sit on the bench.
Yeah.
So they're doing a good job. Probably doing better than most of the higher ups in the American political system right now.
Oh yeah.
We'll try to not to touch on that too much, but
Not a political podcast, gentlemen.
I feel like we gotta say that once every episode is not a political podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's just my main point was just so I had the game on. I was out in the morning just because I was getting breakfast.
Whoa, you were out, bro, during the pandemic?
I went through the Krispy Kreme drive-thru. Calm down, bro.
Oh wait, what'd you get? What kind?
I just got some chocolate donuts. They're pretty
I was
good.
gonna say, if you say lemon glaze, bro.
No. They look disgusting. They look absolutely horrific. I was not trying to get lemon glazed. But,
Bro, that's the only advertisement I've seen on my phone, Instagram, and that's
saw they did-
wow.
I saw they did chocolate glaze, but
That's fine.
that looks
Chocolate
anyways.
glaze is the best.
yeah.
You're the best.
Bro.
Huh?
Okay.
You're
Anyways.
the best, bro.
But shoot. Now I forgot what we were talking about, bro. Come on.
Talking about you were watching the game.
Oh, yeah,
You were watching
okay.
The game on your phone.
No, I was listening to it on the radio
Oh, okay.
on the way back. It's just when you're only listening to it, and I know you're just kind of trying to take in, there's no fans in the stadium. What I'm hearing right now is just purely coaches, players, and speaker systems. It's weird. And then I got home and I saw Signal Iduna Park. I saw the yellow wall just completely empty, and that's just it's really when reality hits you that this is just it's something. We're never going to see a moment like this again in history. Well, okay, I might be speaking too soon. I hope I didn't just jinx the rest of
1720 and 1820 beg to differ.
But my point being, this is a historical moment that we're seeing, and we're not. I don't know whether we see it again in our lifetime or not. I think is debatable. But I mean, we're probably going to see a second wave. Like science is showing that is likely to happen. But it's so weird to see just the arguably the biggest atmosphere in Europe in terms of leagues. I think the Bundesliga is definitely up there. Just seeing the biggest atmospheres in Europe just silent and just nobody there. Of course, Gladbach, we know Gladbach's solution, and I really like their solution. It was innovative.
Oh yeah, the cardboard cutouts,
cardboard
right?
cutouts, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really smart. I wish other clubs would follow that, but it's obviously a lot easier or a lot harder than it sounds. But I don't know. I think one of the solutions I saw is that it's just like some sort. I think somebody said that they should play fan chanting like over the broadcast, not like through the speaker PA at the stadiums. They should just like find old broadcast footage of like stadium chants and put them in the broadcast. And I thought that might be a good solution, but then I was like, I don't know, because if you're like cutting from like the fans cheering to the fans like instantly booing after a goal, it's gonna be kind of jarring. It's gonna feel like an old FIFA game. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it'd be funny if they had like the fans vote on what noises they wanted to play during the game.
That would go so wrong.
I know, it'd be
Yeah,
so
that-
funny.
that would.
Can you imagine though, like you're playing an empty stadium and then it suddenly goes 1738.
I was thinking more so it's just like you're playing a game and you just hear the fans chanting, and then like 2 seconds later you just hear bruh sound effect number 2, and then it just goes completely silent for the rest of the game.
That's gotta happen in a lower league. I think some USL team has got to figure out a way.
Honestly, yeah, I would. Very
Salford City in League Two.
I need the Roughnecks in the USL to play bruh sound effect 3 in an empty stadium.
Much. But yeah,
I think the most jarring part of that would be the echo on the empty walls.
I think that's what would make it so surreal to me. It's like that would just be the greatest experience.
I mean, yeah, fans without fans, like obviously we've seen it all over Twitter, all over social media.
Yeah.
Is people keep saying the same thing? It's like football is nothing without fans, and it's like we realize this. You know,
Yeah.
we're not saying that this is the best way to do it further on. Like everybody knows that. If you say that, you're just repeating the same boring narrative that everyone has been saying since the beginning of this lockdown.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's baby steps. You know, we're out here. They're trying to do the best they can to get games going, because if they don't get games going, then the TV broadcast rights that pays for a lot of the clubs' expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've heard how big like relegation is, because teams lose a lot of money
Yeah.
because they don't have the broadcast rights
Yeah, you
anymore.
lose those broadcast rights. You lose just the branding of being in a big league. And
You lose. You know, I think I saw a number today that Schalke and Dortmund got over 1 billion watches today.
Oh
Really?
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
That's true.
That's a lot of money as well.
Wow.
So again, you lose. Like clubs are coming back. They're not saying that they're gonna keep fans away from the game. They don't want to keep fans away from the game. Obviously,
Yeah, obviously.
they have to come back though, because if they don't, clubs are going to go into administration.
Mm-hmm. It's
like it's not the best, but it's definitely better than nothing.
yeah, it's a harsh reality that's just like, if we don't bring soccer back, then a very bad thing is going to happen to a very big amount of clubs. We're going to see, especially just like smaller league clubs or teams that were in financial difficulties before this, like the one that comes to mind right now is Bolton. Of course, they had their financial.
Bolton, yeah, Bury earlier last.
Oh yeah, definitely
late
Bury.
last year, yeah, I think.
And then there was a team in Italy, I forgot which one, but
I know Burnley. I've read some things that they aren't looking great because they're not playing.
or like teams in the U.S. especially. Like we're going to talk about this later on, but Salt Lake has already dealt with some pretty big issues, and U.S. Soccer even cited this whole pandemic as the reason for the DA disbanding. It's really jarring. I think is just the one thing that I can say is it's really jarring, and it's like there are solutions out there at the moment, especially in MLS. The big solution that we're hearing right now is that Orlando's going to host every single MLS game for the rest of the season in an empty stadium.
Orlando's
That
getting
just
some
seems
playoff
ridiculous
hopes.
to me.
The big,
Playoff soccer in Orlando. Finally, they've done it.
the big problem with that, though, is with the solution, the players have to stay away from their families. They're staying away from friends. They are just it's not good for your mental health because you have
You're
a
in
family.
Orlando
Yes,
July.
in July when all the mosquitoes and just
Oh, yeah.
awful humid weather. It's gonna be a mess. And
It's something that you can expect out of players for 2 to 3 weeks, but it's not something you can expect out of players for 3 to 4 months.
exactly, I think that's a big issue right now, and that's why I believe it was the Premier League, if I'm remembering correctly. They said they wanted to move the competition to somewhere in Asia, I think it was, for the rest of the season. That was it was a very early proposal, I think like a month or two ago, and I think we talked about it on the podcast even. It's not a good solution. It's just not the solution that you need to be looking for right now. I think especially with the Premier League, you have the opportunity to just declare your title winner and then change things up for next season with the relegation teams. You have the opportunity to do that. So
Yeah.
why not do that? Because
They have the opportunity to show that they're putting the players first.
Exactly. And the Premier League, even without broadcasting, makes a ton of money. It makes a ton of money. Even without the teams playing, the Premier League still does make money. I mean, sure, right now we're looking at a negative slope, but that's because the entire world is looking at a negative slope right now. It is an issue, but right now the solution is to put the players and the fans first. And I think that just trying to find a host city, I think, is one of the worst solutions to be looking for right now if you're trying to prove that point.
Orlando.
And also,
I
Orlando's
just feel like with how
awful.
Florida's handled this pandemic would be the best
Mhm.
place to
Oh,
have it.
definitely.
Mhm.
Florida and Georgia, they haven't.
Oh,
They're reopening
100%.
as we speak, and it's crazy to
I
think
mean,
about.
and even so, I would say that Kansas City's not a good choice. Like our numbers are still going up, and we're reopening, and our numbers are still going up.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
yeah.
it's just a mess. Like America in general, again, to not get
Handled
political,
everything terribly.
They botched it.
We've botched it, and there's no other way to put it. I know if any Europeans are watching this, they'd agree with us right now. Like, if you're a European looking from the outside in at the U.S., you're like, what the hell are those guys doing?
Protesting.
We're thinking the same thing as
We're
you, buddy.
protesting.
Trust me, yeah. That's a
we're-
minority, but they're the loudest minority.
It's just that's just a damn shame about that, is they're the loud minority, and so they speak for us. But yeah, it's just there is no right solution to bringing back soccer, especially in the U.S. with MLS. I don't think there is a right solution right now, because either way that you try it, something bad happens. Clubs go into the negative if you don't bring back the league. But if you bring back the league, players are going to start getting the virus. They're going to start spreading it to their families and to other people who are vulnerable. And it's just like, regardless of what your political belief is, the science is the virus spreads exponentially. And it is an issue that if you want to open up a huge stadium, fans or not, for 22 players plus 7 subs on each team, plus a coach, plus the coaching staff, plus cameramen, plus referees, especially in America, and especially in a place like Britain, the two countries that I think, whether you think so or not, have handled the virus the most poorly, you're looking at an awful solution. And I think that at the moment, and we've said this like 3 weeks in a row, we should not be looking at MLS coming back anytime soon. But yeah.
No, you're right.
I think, okay, we've stayed on this topic a little long, but since we are
I think
talking,
it's important to talk about, yeah.
oh yeah, it's definitely important to talk about, but
But I think we should move on to talking about
Yeah, but
how the Americans got on.
Oh, I was gonna ask if anyone else just wanted to say anything before.
Okay.
Just Jacob, Jack, or Finn.
You got it all.
Nice. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic. Our next topic, we're gonna stay in the Bundesliga, of course. And of course, we know the Bundesliga has been a very, very big place for Americans over the past decade or two to make a name for themselves in Europe. And right now,
forever, bro. We've had
honestly.
So many Americans go over there and play.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually
Countless
unreal.
names.
I think they're probably the ones that take in the most Americans outside of in the biggest leagues in the world.
100%. Especially right now, it's pretty much just Germany, like all the way up there, and then like below it's maybe like England, and I think France is also up.
Probably
there.
like Liga MX as well.
Liga MX, yes.
True.
I keep forgetting that they do take a pretty good amount of our exports. But anyways, yeah. So we're just gonna. I don't know how to transition this. We're just gonna talk about the good, the best Americans in the Bundesliga.
Do we want to talk
right
about
now.
how they got on today, or like in general?
Yeah, I guess we should go ahead and talk about that because, I don't know. There's no other way to say it, but the Americans did not have the best of days in the Bundesliga today.
Not today.
There were a couple of good standout performances. I think. Again, I said before the podcast, I think Weston McKennie had a good performance, but when you lose 4-0, you don't really have a good performance. So
Yeah, Dortmund just tore them apart, man. Julian Brandt just went off.
It was Julian Brandt, Thorgan Hazard, and Erling Haaland.
Don't mention that name.
Excuse me.
The second one. Don't mention the name.
Not today.
Oh, sorry. Forgot that was a sore spot for you guys. But
Pain.
Yeah. So let's see. I think if I'm not correct, there was an American in every game, but the Hoffenheim versus Berlin game, I believe. So yeah. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and break it down real quick. Gio Reyna was in the starting 11 for Dortmund, but had to come out with an injury before the game started.
Oh man,
which was absolute pain. Because the first tweet I saw on my timeline when I woke up was Gio Reyna is in the starting 11 for Borussia Dortmund, and I got so hyped. And then on my way home, I heard he was injured, and I wanted to cry. But anyways, Weston McKennie started for Schalke.
It's the highest highs, the lowest lows.
Yes. Weston McKennie started for Schalke and was arguably their man of the match, but again, they lost 4-0. Tyler Adams, did he start or did he come in?
Tyler Adams.
He started.
Oh, I see. He
as
started
a right back.
Oh, that's why he didn't play well. Yeah, he started as a right back, which time and time again, U.S. fans, we have said he is not a right back. He is a holding midfielder. Whatever.
I mean, he can play there. It's not like he's not able to play there.
He showed that with his time at the Red Bulls. But
yeah, but
the New York Red Bulls.
His best position.
When he's at his best when he's playing holding midfield, and there's no debate about that. And when he plays right back, he can have a good performance, but I just think when he's in holding mid, he's in that right mentality that he wants to be in. But anyways, like I said, there were no Americans in Hoffenheim versus Berlin. Dusseldorf, Zach Steffen was out injured, but Alfredo Morales came in as a substitute for Dusseldorf, I believe, at halftime. Or no, I think it was later on in the game. Yeah, it was in the 69th minute. Let's see here. John Brooks started and played the full 90 for Wolfsburg in their 2-1 win over Augsburg.
He scored an own goal.
It didn't. I don't think they counted it as an own goal after all. I looked at the stats and it said it was not.
Well, then he assisted it, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
difference.
No, 100%. He also did not have a very good performance from what I saw on Twitter. And then Timothy Chandler came on as a sub. I believe he played left back or center back. I can't remember.
He played a little bit of right back. He got up the field well.
He didn't play too bad in the second half, to be honest.
He wasn't bad.
Couple shots like that, I think.
He only had 16 minutes to play, or 18 minutes if you count stoppage time.
Yeah, he replaced Adama Traore, I think, or
he replaced.
It's not Adama. It's what he replaced.
No,
it's
he
Traore.
Yeah,
like
so obsessed with the
No,
Java player.
literally, they have similar names, bro.
I think it's Abdoulaye
It's
Toure.
Amori or like Amori.
And, no,
I
he
think
did
it's
not.
Amori Traore.
He did not replace Toure. It was Toure. Like
Yeah,
Yaya
Toure.
No
Toure.
way. They have
Yeah,
this, hold on.
they don't have a Traore at Frankfurt.
Bro, he's the dude from Monaco.
Yeah,
Toure.
Yeah.
Torre, yeah.
Let's Al-Mame Toure. Yes.
Played for. I think he's from Guinea or Mali.
I think he's,
Oh, it is Torre. I thought they pronounced it like Traore. The entire broadcast, they spent it sounding just
and
like
yes,
Traore.
Josh, you win the Golden Crown for saying Mali and not Guinea because they have very similar
Yeah,
flags.
he is from Mali.
But
Yeah, it's like 2 different shades of green is how you differentiate or something like that.
something like that, yeah. But Timothy Chandler came on for.
Wow.
It's weird. Timothy Chandler came on for David Abraham, who's a center back. So that was interesting to me. There was and then there was no Fabian Johnson for Gladbach.
Yeah, he wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah, he has not been in the 18 for a very long time.
Because he's old.
Oh, in MLS.
I would hope so, honestly.
Johnson, the SKC.
Oh my god,
Needed.
that would honestly.
He could be our right back, bro.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Honestly,
Okay, so I think that we should look at maybe the Dortmund game, talk about McKinney and his performance, and maybe a little bit of Gio.
Why are we talking about Gio, bro?
Because I love him
on the
bro.
field.
Because I want everyone to know how sad I was that this
He literally
morning.
walked out of the tunnel and pulled his hammy like he's done.
No, bro. Good news is that Favre said that it doesn't look like it's too serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say I have no idea what happened. I didn't watch the game.
And again, it's just like this is the first game back.
Yeah.
It's going to be the most watched game in a long time.
Oh yeah.
And he starts a 17-year-old American. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
You tell us 5 years ago that was going to happen, and we wouldn't believe you.
You tell us 1 year ago, and we wouldn't believe you.
True.
Say that that's gonna happen, and I don't believe you.
Especially in the
True.
River Derby and the River Derby, that's just. It's not the River Derby. What Derby is it? Oh my god.
Starts with an R. I don't remember. It's
Like
Riviera
Riverside.
Derby.
Riverside.
I have to look this up. I'm gonna feel like such an idiot if I.
Can we cut this?
It's like the Riviera Derby.
It was the Riviera Derby. Okay. Anyways,
Finn, let's go.
especially in the
Let's
Riviera
go.
Derby, like that's huge, especially for Dortmund because that's a game that they put in very high regard. Just such a big rivalry game.
It's a big game in Germany.
It
all
really
all
is.
the Bundesliga fans put
Recently,
that game at a high regard.
Recently, it's been kind of weird because Schalke have been like in this sort of on and off over the past couple of years. Last year they had an awful year. This year they've been all right, and the year before that they were amazing. And Dortmund are consistently inconsistent, I think, is the main thing. So yeah, they usually get like top 3, top 4. But yeah, Gio Reyna did not end up starting. We are all very sad. We hope that he starts next week. Don't cry, Joss. It's okay, bro.
Bro, I'm
That was
on the
me.
edge.
Yeah, Weston McKennie did start for Schalke. If you guys want to go ahead and run through the other ones real quick, Joss, I think you had them down.
You mean like which Americans played today?
Yeah.
So we had Weston McKinney, not Gio Reyna, but we're gonna put Gio Reyna up there. Good job, Gio.
yeah.
We got
Gio.
Tyler Adams for Leipzig.
I'm sorry, I just realized we already ran through every single one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought we did,
This
but
has been a long day. It is very late.
it's okay. We'll just cut it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So yeah,
Anyway.
I think McKennie for Schalke. We know Schalke did not play well. They got destroyed by Dortmund 4-0. It was a massacre. But if we do look at the fan ratings overall, Weston McKennie did have, at least on Who Scored, which is what I am looking at right now, he had the highest rating with a 6.7 compared to the average team rating of a 6. So not much better, but he was certainly far from the worst player on the field today against Dortmund. So
Yeah.
that was good.
He was deployed, I think, in an unfamiliar position.
Yeah.
he's not a holding mid. He hasn't ever been a holding mid.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think he's got the skill set to be a holding mid, but he hasn't been one in his career. He's a box to box who likes to, he'll get around. He'll put a tackle and he'll cover every blade of grass. But he wasn't good today. He didn't shield the defense as well as he should have. I think that Dortmund, a lot of what they did, it came from a counterattack. And it seems like every counterattack, they ghosted McKennie. It's like he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So I think his high rating comes from that he did complete some dribbles, he got up the field, he got back. I think that he was just poor in the most important parts of the game.
Yeah.
There were a few key passes that he had. I can think of one in the second half where he had a chance to slot a through ball forward, and he just missed it, quite frankly.
Yeah, was that I think that was the Caligiuri miss early on.
I think he had like a header on goal from a free kick.
Yeah. And
if he scored, I was going to tweet out, it's a good thing that only goals by Americans count, and we would have gotten 100,000 retweets. It would have been a banger. But we live and learn. We move on. It can happen. I will get a banger sometime.
There's always next week.
I knew that was going to be the point from this one.
There will be a banger on our Twitter account at some point.
Maybe then we'll get more than 19 followers, bro. Maybe we'll get 20.
No,
Jack,
you think so?
Maybe, bro.
Jack, bro, we don't talk about the follow count on the podcast. But,
that's dreamland.
Yeah, obviously, man of the match, I think a lot of people agreed it was Julian Brandt. He was world-class today. He was insane. Rafael Guerrero also had a very good performance for Dortmund. But moving on to the next game, it was RB Leipzig versus Freiburg.
I don't care what you say, Freiburg should have won.
They should have won. They really should have.
Jack, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, VAR is the worst thing in existence, and nobody knows actually how to look at video properly. Like, my dead grandmother could do a better job. So what I'm saying is, Leipzig, they got lucky to get a point today.
Do you miss being mad at VAR? Have you missed it?
I missed that, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
it gave me such a rush. I was like, I needed this. It's been 2 months since I got to be upset with VAR.
We need a compilation of Jack screaming at VAR at some point.
We do. Next
season. Let's get an edit down.
Bro, look, it's been so good in the Premier League with Southampton, right? Because we've had, I think, 4 penalties given to us thanks to VAR.
Oh my
and
Lord.
Danny Ings has put them all away. And it's like, yeah, that is it. Actually, sorry, Ward-Prowse put 2 of them away. Ings put 1, and I don't remember the other one. I think Long. Doesn't really matter. And then you go to the Bundesliga version of VAR, which should be almost the same, but it's, like, catastrophically worse. Like, Bundesliga VAR is Chernobyl. That is it.
Whoa.
Bro, they don't have a clue what they're doing in Germany when it comes to
Wait.
Rip to your grandma, but I'm different.
Bro, it is a nuclear disaster.
Jesus.
That's all I'm gonna say about VAR, bro.
If Germany VAR is Chernobyl, then what is the Prem VAR?
That's
No. We shouldn't get into this territory.
That's a can of worms.
It's like a normally functioning nuclear plant. That's what it is. It's stable.
I'd say like
it has some crisis moments.
I'd say it's like normal in the sense that a Soviet Union nuclear plant would be considered normally functioning.
Okay, so it's like 3 Mile Island, like I said. It's like it had one disaster, but it's normal now. And then Chernobyl still melted to the ground. I mean, that is the Bundesliga.
Moving on from nuclear disasters, talking about Leipzig.
I'm not gonna speak about Leipzig. I'll let Josh talk about this team.
I wanted to talk. I had a very good point that I did not notice until the game started. Did Leipzig field any actual like natural center backs? I think because they had Angelino, they had Halstenberg, Mukiele, and Adams, and then Klosterman. I don't.
Mukiele,
he played some center back when he was in France.
He is a center back. He's a natural center back. He can play on the right, but like
he's been deployed as a right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Halstenberg is a
left back.
Yeah, Klosterman's also a left back.
So
or right
it's
back.
Angelino.
Okay, so they had players that can play center back. It's just
Their center backs have been
I mean, they've got it's
Orban and
Willie
who?
Orban, Upamecano,
Yeah, that guy.
and sometimes it's like Leipzig have a great scouting network for like French center backs in the league.
Yeah, Mukiele and
Kanate, Upamecano.
And yes, those two are the other two ones. And then
I mean, I
Nkunku.
guess it's not just Leipzig; it's the whole Red Bull organization.
Yeah, and Nkunku, the midfielder from
Yeah,
PSG.
He's good.
PSG. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had Jean-Paul Augustin, who was also at PSG. Now he's at
not
Leeds.
as good.
He's at Leeds now, so
That explains that.
that tells you how good he is.
Not as good.
I actually had no clue that he was at Leeds right now.
Yeah,
That's
Nkunku,
insane.
bro, is a baller.
He really is. He did not. Obviously, he didn't have that great of a performance today, but now,
most chances created in the league, though.
yeah.
All I'm gonna say is I'm glad Timo Werner is leaving. I cannot deal another season with that man scoring on us.
Scoring 35 goals, dude.
Yeah. Every time he plays Gladbach, bro, it's a brace every time. It doesn't fail.
What are the main rumors? Where is he? What are like the main
Liverpool.
rumors?
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Are they like?
Yeah, they're
ousting
paying that
Firmino?
release clause. No, they're
Yeah.
just paying his release clause.
Huh.
I heard
No,
a
what is
little
it?
bit of Bayern earlier on, but
And I've heard they're gonna keep Firmino as their starter and just let Werner sit on the bench.
That is an awful mistake. Werner's a starting
That's
11
criminal.
player.
I
Werner's
mean,
a
yeah,
starter,
but
easy.
Firmino is like the perfect counterpart for speedy winger that can score and speedy winger that just set the record for single season goals. Like, you don't need another 30 goal scorer up top. You need a more defensive player. I mean, Liverpool's
You
got
need a creator.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing with Firmino.
Well,
He's
I
a
don't know,
creator
like,
that can
Werner's
score.
able to create. I think
No,
he plays
that
a lot
dude
like
is
Harry
so
Kane.
greedy. Shut up. Stop talking.
I think
Stop talking.
he's able to drop in, but yeah, he likes his runs in behind because dude is so fast.
He is
he's
pacey.
Sonic, bro.
He is
I hate
Sonic,
Werner.
bro.
I hate playing against him on FIFA. That's all I can
I
tell
do.
you.
I hate Werner, period.
He is, yeah. I think okay. Do we have any? Josh, did you have
Well,
any other points you
yeah,
want to touch on?
Tyler Adams played at right back, like
Yeah.
we mentioned. Didn't play great. He had a couple of like what he does, interceptions, tackles. His heat map, he's very on the right side of the pitch. Sometimes he'll drift to the center. So he was subbed off in the 69th minute, nice, for
Shut up.
Sabitzer, yeah.
Nice.
So again, not a great day for an obviously talented player. I just don't want him to be a right back. We don't need a right back in the men's national team. We have Dest.
Absolutely
We have
not.
Serginho Dest. We have DeAndre Yedlin.
Serginho Dest, DeAndre Yedlin, Reggie Cannon.
And Designated Podcast favorite Dallas player, Reggie Cannon.
I mean,
You
you
know?
do have a point. That is my favorite Dallas player.
I was about to say,
I know,
let's
bro.
get off Dallas before Jack starts going.
Bro, I
off
respect Reggie Cannon. That's all I'm gonna say.
He's
Okay.
the officially endorsed Dallas player of the Designated
You
Podcast.
can-
He's the only Dallas player I'll ever respect. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, but yeah. Adams is
So not a
definitely-
great day,
Yeah.
but
should not
I
have been.
think that once he gets back, like his injury hasn't helped him. Couple that with how good Conrad Leimer has been as a holding mid,
Mm-hmm.
and just how potent that like their midfield was in Cuckoo, Campbell, and Leimer. That's insane. That's such a good midfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Tyler Adams does get in there. Maybe once one of them drops out or gets injured, and it's good to see that again. Nagelsmann trusts him to play him out of position, and he still plays to a decent level.
Yeah, I thought is Nkunku alone or was he?
No, he
No,
was
he's
bought.
alone.
Okay,
was
I was
he?
about to
thought he was
say,
bought.
I think so. I think they bought him.
I'm trying to.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
sure.
they did buy him. They did. It was 13 million, which is pretty good for a player.
That's a steal.
Honestly,
I
it is.
hate Leipzig. They always get the most ridiculous steals you'll ever see. Like Orban was 2 million euros, and now look at
Yeah.
him.
Because they've got 400 million in Red Bull sales to splurge on.
2 million, bro. They literally didn't have to push out anything.
We-
They could
we-
sell like 3 drinks and buy Orban.
We could
Like
talk
they
about
did.
Exactly.
we could talk about the Leipzig controversy for like all
I hate
day, but
Leipzig,
we're gonna
bro. They have-
move on. Oh, okay.
They have beautiful kids though. Their third kids are incredible.
Oh, so nice.
They.
I thought you said kids, not
Yeah,
kids.
I was like, what?
Yeah. You're sick, Finn. You're done.
Anyways,
The
we're gonna-
K-pop stands should go into your mentions on Twitter. You're done.
before we
Private
go
account,
any
private
further- Before we go any further, we're gonna move on from Leipzig versus Freiburg. The next game, I doubt any of us watched even a second of this game.
Is it Dusseldorf?
Yeah,
and
Dusseldorf and
Paderborn?
Paderborn
Yeah.
played to a 0-0 draw. Nil. I keep saying that. 0-0.
Can we
Nil,
just skip
nil.
them?
Nate Bukaty, curse you.
Can we like skip them and just talk about Serginho Dest to Barcelona rumors?
No, bro.
I was just gonna talk.
I need
real quick.
Alfredo Morales.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about how much
in the chat.
Bro, Morales is what, like 38? What has he done? What has he done? What has he done?
He's like 22.
He's 30.
Is he really?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
I swore. I thought he was like 22.
No,
No lie. I'm thinking of Dwayne
Morales, though,
Holmes.
you're
I'm
thinking.
thinking of Dwayne Holmes.
I remember because he's been around since like FIFA 14, bro.
He's been in the bum teams of Germany since then too.
Yeah, he
Like
was with
Freiburg,
he.
and
Yeah,
now he's at
He was-
Dusseldorf.
yeah, Freiburg, Düsseldorf. I feel like he was
There's
at
one in
Frankfurt.
between there.
I thought it was Frankfurt. No,
No, he never got that high.
Ingolstadt.
It was Ingolstadt, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
he never got that.
I just wanted to talk real quick about how everybody forgot about Alfredo Morales until he was in one of the U.S. squads last year, I think. And now,
Oh, was it the one against Trinidad and Tobago?
oof, I can't.
No, last year, bro,
Wah, wah.
2019. We don't talk about.
No. It was last year, not
I
Trinidad.
think we do talk about Trinidad though.
We're not talking
Nope.
about that here, Jack.
I'll
We're not
cry.
talking
I
about
will
that
cry.
here.
I think we do.
You think I won't cry? Are you?
Yeah, I
serious?
actually do.
Jack, please save it for another episode, bro.
I don't remember Morales getting a call up though. That's the bad part.
Because I don't think he played, and then he went back to being a sub for Dusseldorf and fell off the
Let's
face of
go.
the earth.
Well,
But
Morales came on. I just want to say he came on in the 69th minute. Nice.
Nice.
Is that all you're gonna say?
Again.
Well
Did
done,
he-
everybody.
Did he complete a pass, bro? Did he do anything?
He dropped a
Uh,
6.4, which was the
yeah.
best of the other subs.
He had. Wait, no, I think I'm looking at the wrong stat. It says he had an 85% pass success rate, which
That's
sounds.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's
That's
probably
pretty
his career
good.
best.
I respect it.
Or wait, no, I'm looking. Okay, sorry. Who scored stats are off? He had a 60% pass success, which
Yeah,
is
that's
not
probably his
great.
career best.
There he is.
Yeah, and he dropped a
Baller.
6.4. Dusseldorf's was
Stud.
6.6 if you round up.
God.
He did not have much action, to be fair. So, yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on.
Dusseldorf, bro. What do you expect? Do you think they're like Manchester City, bro?
I mean,
High press
they do have Zach Steffen on loan from City.
Yeah, that's like the same thing.
and a torn ACL. He's out for the rest of the year.
Okay, you're gonna make me cry, bro. We're gonna move on.
I'm pretty sure he's out for the rest of the year, if I recall correctly.
I think so, yeah. But
Think about- think about how Bill Hamid is the next best goalkeeper in our pool.
I'm thinking about actually.
Think about Tim
Yeah,
Melia.
never mind. That's probably right. Yeah, never mind.
Timmy Melia.
I think we should actually just call Tim Howard back.
He's playing for like some US.
Memphis, yeah. Memphis 904, whatever it is.
I don't like it, but anyways. Let's see here.
Who's next?
Augsburg
Let's go.
lost 1-2 to Wolfsburg. I don't know why I said it like that. Wolfsburg beat Augsburg 2-1.
Let's go.
It's been such a
Bro,
long day,
what?
bro.
The Berg beat the Berg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Brooks did play the whole 90
Own
minutes.
goal.
He did on who scored. It does not say that he scored an own goal, but he did
Who did
definitely.
score?
I think it
Finn
was.
Augustin,
It
bro?
was.
They gave it as a goal to Tim
Yedvaj.
Yedvaj.
Yedvaj. I don't know how to say his name, but
The other center back.
but yes, John.
Sad.
While Wolfsburg did win, John Brooks was definitely one of their worst players, and did not play very well.
He dropped the Josh Prokop's rating, didn't
Come on.
he? What did he drop, bro? Like a 2.7?
What's the issue, bro? Are you kidding me? What is the issue? I run
Bro.
that field, bro. I run that midfield in pro clubs.
I cannot
Bro,
believe
you're
it.
numb. Oh my god. You're numb.
What are you talking about, bro?
Your name is not Douglas. Your name
doesn't-
is not Douglas Lopez. There we go. Got it out that time.
Bro,
Shout
Bro,
out,
he
Doug.
was that field, bro.
Shout
I
out, Doug.
run that midfield, Jack, bro. You're there with me,
I
dog.
know, bro. We're a good pivot, bro, but Doug is superior. Bro, as soon as he gets a red card, we win.
How can you be a good pivot, bro, when you're at
Quick
striker half the
map,
time?
bro. It is quick
No.
map. No, bro.
No.
He plays goalie now, bro. He moved the goalkeeper.
Dude, I've never been more depressed than watching Doug in goal.
Anyways, John Brooks did play the full 90 minutes for Wolfsburg.
What did he drop, bro? You never answered that question. I need to know. Is it like a
He dropped a
6.2?
6.7.
Yeah.
No way.
6.7.
No way.
6.7.
No way. No way.
According to who scored.
To be fair, the average for Wolfsburg was only 6.9, so he was only 0.2
Nice.
below that.
Nice.
Damn it, man! But he was below average, definitely. He did not play to the best of his extent. My main
So
point was
then
going
John
to be
Brooks that we know he can play to the Hertha Berlin John Brooks.
prime
that we
John
all
Brooks.
love.
Yeah, prime John Brooks was the Berlin John Brooks that played.
Listen, he hasn't been prime since he
Copa
scored a header against
America.
Ghana in 2014.
I was gonna say he hasn't been prime since Copa America, where he had that one performance against Ecuador. No, I can't.
Oh,
remember.
dude, he was really good.
He was
That's
really good for
Ecuador,
Copa.
bro.
No, but he was insane that tournament. He was like one of our
He
best.
was.
He was probably our best player in the Copa America. And honestly, it's just been all downhill for him since then. He's just had injury after injury, honestly.
That's what happens when you play with Volkswagen on your chest. You expect to be good, no.
But yeah, okay. I don't know. I think we can all agree he's not been very good since he went to Wolfsburg, honestly.
He hasn't been as good as we expected.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Southampton should buy him.
Honestly,
He does seem like a Southampton kind of signing.
honestly, you
Yeah,
know
we
what?
just give them Vestergaard instead. Just make it a
Mediocre
1-1.
Bundesliga center
Let's
backs.
go.
Honestly, you know what? I'd be down for that. I think that'd be a
I
good.
support it because we're supposed to be selling Vestergaard. So
So here's a question then. Do we think that he should move on from Wolfsburg? Or is
Yes,
this like the highest he can play?
No, yes, he's gone.
Yeah, I think.
He needs to take a step down from Wolfsburg because if you think about it, Wolfsburg are like top 6 through 8 Bundesliga club, respectfully. Like they have a
Oh wait, yeah, they are. I'm sorry.
devoted fan base. They have
They have the
solid
backing
squad.
of a commercial, like a company.
Yeah, they have a car manufacturer backing them. I mean, Volkswagen is literally the name of the stadium, name of the kit, like the main sponsor on the kit.
It's like the center, bro. It's like the sun.
It
The
literally
sun
is
and like everything else is the
giant
solar
VW.
system.
And so I mean, Wolfsburg, they've had a dark last couple of years. They nearly got relegated the year before.
Yeah, twice, couple times.
yeah.
They've had to go into the playoffs.
They went to the playoffs 2018. Last year they finished 2 spots above the playoffs.
Mhm.
They've been down there, but before John Anthony Brooks joined their team, they were like a Europa League team. They could honestly fight for 7th, 8th, sometimes 6th, 5th. You never know.
Well, they were in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I think it was
Ronaldo
15,
talked
16.
about-
When they had De Bruyne, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that was
No,
probably,
It was the season after De Bruyne.
That was when De Bruyne carried them.
Oh, it was right because De Bruyne
'Cause
made them finish.
They played
what,
Madrid,
third?
and I think Real Madrid finished. I think Ronaldo scored a hat trick against them in the
Yeah, I think I remember.
in the
that.
knockout rounds.
Well, how do you replace Kevin De Bruyne? I just want to know.
You don't.
Felipe Anderson.
Nope. I'm
Bro.
not gonna.
You
I'm
know who they brought
not.
in to
Joss.
replace him,
Joss.
by the way?
I take a lot of your opinions. I'm not gonna take that one.
Bro,
Okay. I'm just saying. Kevin De Bruyne or Christian Pulisic. I know who I want.
We're gonna move on to the next team, and that
Alright,
team
alright,
is
alright. I see,
Frankfurt
I see.
and Mönchengladbach.
let's go up the falls,
Let's go, Jack.
Yes.
This one's yours, bro.
bro. All right, here
Go
we
ahead,
go.
honestly.
Timothy Chandler. He played 25 minutes.
I think it was less. It was 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, he did good when he came on. He got up the field a couple times, but by then we had Frankfurt pinned, and then Andre Silva scored a goal out of nowhere. So I was like, all right. But Fabian Johnson hasn't played since match day 8, I think. It's been forever ago.
It's
And
been a long time.
up the falls, yeah, we're back with a win. I was excited, man.
It was great to watch.
It really
Rose
was.
ball is back in full swing.
Rose ball is the best ball. There's no debate.
Playa scored in like 45 seconds. That's unreal.
It was 36, bro. Respect it.
That's
and then Thurman scored 6 minutes later. Just it was too easy, bro. Like it really wasn't a challenge. Like Frankfurt didn't show up to play at all today. To be fair.
No, every time the ball went in the air, Frankfurt couldn't deal with it.
No, they really couldn't. They didn't look like they wanted to play a lot. Like I mean, when Silva came on, he looked like he wanted to play. I mean, Andre Silva's a really good number 9. I respect that. That was a smart loan. I mean, it's not going to replace Luka Jovic like at all. You're not going to do that.
Or Sebastian Haller.
I just want to say real quick.
Was a good replacement for Haller, but
Frankfurt actually won more aerial battles than Gladbach today.
Because they have Bas Dost, bro.
That is true.
Bas Dost is 6'6" or whatever. Like man,
how old is he? He's like 38, right?
31. He's 31.
He's 30.
He's 30.
33. He's 33.
It says he's 30.
He's 30, bro.
Dang.
I thought he was 31.
No, he's 30. He is as old as Alfredo Morales.
The man with the biggest mouth in the sport.
Bas Dost, baby.
That guy could probably swallow like a whole watermelon. I'm not even lying.
Jesus.
The man you never want to pack in FIFA.
Exactly.
I packed him at least 5 times, I'm going to be honest. But, yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of the Gladbach game at the end. They could have won that game 6-1 probably, honestly. Like, they had a lot of chances.
I mean, if you think about the Hoffman miss was like...
That was really
just
bad.
The worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
But besides that, Hoffman didn't have a bad game. He actually played very well. Assisted
Hoffman
players.
has been really good for us. Like,
yeah,
he had an assist.
Rose got in. Like, Hoffman has been one of the most underrated players on that team because
he's
he
consistently
just
performed
perfectly in that system. I don't know what changed, but it's right. And like Lars Stindl back is one of the best things ever.
I think Tobias Strobel played very well.
Strobel had a wonderful game.
Shielding the defense, letting Neuhaus kind of do his thing up further up the pitch.
Yeah, he was a really good replacement for Zakaria.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's probably going to be there when Zakaria goes to a bigger team than us, like United or something. Manchester United, or I don't even know where he would go besides there.
He's a Liverpool signing, man.
No, I don't.
That's a Wijnaldum replacement right there.
Notice how we're talking the most about Gladbach out of all the Bundesliga teams.
Bro,
you want to cry some more, bro?
Yeah, you want to cry, bro? It doesn't matter that you.
I'm just saying this is supposed to be a conversation about Americans in the Bundesliga.
Oh, I'm sorry that our American doesn't play, bro. I'm sorry that he's been outcast because he's 33, bro.
That is fair.
We haven't had an American like. Oh, well, I mean, we've had Fabian Johnson, but, like, we haven't had another one since. I don't even remember the other, like, any American or before him.
I don't think I could remember one either, honestly.
They're a proud German team. Let's put it that way.
That is true.
But they do love their Swiss signings. Yeah, now, if we were a Swiss podcast, like, we could talk about Gladbach all day. Bro, our whole starting 11 is Swiss. Like, there's Jan Sommer. There's Helvetti.
We're not.
There's
Mbolo. We're going.
Bro, there's Zakaria.
We should. Okay, I know y'all are gonna go on and on about Gladbach, so we're gonna probably. We do still have a couple other things we have to talk about, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna move on from just the Bundesliga.
All right, fellas, I got a dip, so it was fun recording my half of this podcast. So
all right.
Yeah. Y'all have a good rest of your recording and good night.
Yeah, see you,
Jack. King.
All right, see
you later.
All right, then there were 4. So.
All right.
I'm
actually get this conversation started, boys.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, do we want to talk about the DA or which one do we talk about?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the DA.
Yeah, so for all of you guys that don't know, I'm sure that most of the people who watch this have kept up with us at this point, but MLS just announced, I believe it was just 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago as of recording this. The creation of their own youth development system. They said in total 95 clubs across America will be joining a new youth development system to pretty much replace the DA that went under it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. Yeah. It feels like it was not that long ago, but it was like 4 weeks ago. Time is going by at an odd pace. But anyways, I'm not like too expertise on this, so I'll let either Jacob or Josh go ahead and talk about it if you guys want to.
Let's give it to Jacob.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is a lot of the two main goals that I saw coming from this were two of the things that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So the first one, it looks like they're going to try to make things more regional in terms of the competition, and the second one is starting to move towards a more affordable programs for all. Now, currently, out of the 95 teams, I think the majority of them, correct me if I'm wrong, but it appeared to be on the map, mostly in California and I think some on the East Coast. So hopefully,
I think that's right.
Okay. So hopefully, I mean, I think we'll eventually see some of the teams from the Midwest and, from the Mid-East kind of trickle in eventually, and we'll make things better. But this is definitely the right first steps for us to be taking, I think.
Yeah, just noting right now, there are a noticeable amount of states without teams. I think.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that a little bit, but if you have anything you want to say.
Oh no, I mean, I was just going to mention Kansas only has one, which was surprising to me, and it's just barely. I think it's pretty much Kansas City is what it looks like on the map.
It's Sporting Kansas City, I believe.
Oh yeah, you're right. It says MLS Academy Clubs, and then St. Louis. St. Louis has one. Anyways, MLS. St. Louis is gonna have one, and then below that, they have an elite academy below St. Louis. Besides that, in the Midwest,
and that's probably Scott Gallagher, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think so. Chicago has 2, I believe, or at least Illinois does. Besides
Illinois has 3, I think.
On the map, it looks like there's 2.
No, there's 2 blue dots and a red dot.
Okay, it's really small for me. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna
zoom in.
They do have 3: Chicago FC United, Chicago Fire FC, and Soccer's FC Chicago. Whatever the hell those are.
But I would not be discouraged by the low number.
Oh no, it'll grow. It'll grow. They said there's room to grow over the next.
I think that there's a lot of talent in the South, and I feel like they've missed the boat here by not putting a team in like Arkansas or Mississippi. Only putting one team in Tennessee, I think, it's a little iffy. It's a little bit of an iffy move, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see it develop over the next couple of years. Probably we'll see more teams come in.
I hope that we see more as well out west. I want to see more in Utah, Colorado, because RSL, like, I'm as much as I hate to admit it, they've dug up some gems recently. Justin Glad, Richie Ledesma.
That's fair.
Just to name a couple.
Ochoa, yeah.
Yeah, just to name a couple. I think Brooks Lennon as well. I think he came through the academy there.
I thought I don't know. I don't always remember that situation. But anyways, yeah.
I'd like to see more. I think because there's a lot of talent in that area, especially. Yeah, well, yeah. Brooks Lennon was raised in Arizona, so yeah.
I mean, that'll come time, especially considering the fact that, this is taking place during the whole coronavirus thing. So a lot of these clubs are still trying to figure out, how they're personally going to get by at the moment. And I think once they can do that, I think they'll be willing to build these more elite clubs and more elite teams within these clubs, and then be able to post them there. But I think it's a big move to see that already 95 teams during such even a difficult time financially are willing to even take that step right now.
Mm-hmm. And it goes back to our conversation we had, I believe, as of this podcast. I think it'll be 2 episodes ago. But we talked a lot about just the issues that the DA just had for just kids in America who wanted to go pro and play soccer. And I think this system is definitely going to work to fix those issues. Whether or not it'll be like a complete fix, again, we have to wait and see. We've said that a lot about this new system. But I think one of the notable things is that they will be doing applications for additional clubs throughout the coming months. So there is a lot of room to grow throughout the youth leagues. From what they have already, it's definitely going to grow, I think, especially in some of the bigger states that probably should have teams that do not right now.
I need a team in New Mexico. That's all I want.
Yes. I was going to say New Mexico, Oklahoma is probably one of those that I think could use one right now.
Yeah.
And just the teams in the South, like Louisiana as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent down there.
Yeah.
In the South, because I think that when you think about where the best athletes come from, I think that a lot of them come from southern states as well. Like, there's a reason Alabama has such a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're able to get it so that these kids don't have to, like, they have a choice if they want to go play soccer instead of football, I think that that's a good place to start, is in these states that can produce the best athletes.
100%. And it's going to grow. That's my main point. It's just we're going to see a lot of growth with the youth league over the next coming years, and I think we'll definitely see some changes, and we'll definitely see just a lot of fresh initiatives. I think just with youth leagues in MLS. But yeah, you guys have anything else you wanted to say on that?
I think it's a good move. Sorry.
Yes.
You go.
I was about to say, I know literally nothing about this, so
let's go.
It's all right. It's all right. I don't know that much about it, but yeah, I mean, it's an exciting prospect, I think, is the main thing.
I was about to say it's very exciting that young kids are going to have an opportunity anywhere just to do what they love.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's definitely a big takeaway from this is just, in fact, it says on their website the main things that they're promoting, just personal growth, community outreach, environment, player identification, and coaching. So the fact that only really one of those is like completely tactical, of course that being the coaching, I think is definitely a good step in the right direction for getting kids to see soccer not only as just like a sport that they play just like to keep them healthy, but also as just a sort of I don't know, I guess not career option, but I guess a passion, I guess I think is the main thing.
Yes, that's the right word.
Yeah. But yeah, since I guess if nobody has anything else to say about that, do we still have one more thing that we want to talk about real quick, or?
Yeah, I want to talk about Anua paying the wages.
Yeah, okay, you can go ahead on that, Joss.
Bet. So, obviously, with this pandemic, clubs have fallen on harder times, and they've had to furlough some staff. We've seen it in the biggest leagues. We've seen it in the Prem, and La Liga, the Bundesliga, everything like that. So it's obviously happening in MLS, especially because the season hasn't really started up here yet. It's only been 2 games. So there hasn't been an opportunity to make a lot of money. But I will say this. There was a story that broke about a couple of days ago. I actually tweeted about it because I'm a genius, so let me find that tweet real fast.
I think the way you tweeted it was probably the absolute best way to have worded it, honestly.
Exactly, bro. I'm a genius. So the Salt Lake Tribune broke a story, and it was from the point of view of a Real Salt Lake employee who said that defender Neda Manuaha, who came over, was it last season or 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of seasons ago. From
English defender, played for QPR.
Yeah, Handman.
That's what I remember him for. He had a killer FIFA card. 75 pace as a center back in FIFA 15 is unreal.
I do remember that as well.
But yeah, so he came over and he's paid the wages or he's just paid some of the wages of some of the workers at Real Salt Lake, which is great for him. And I think that should be applauded. I think that's a great thing for him to do, especially because he didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason, like he did it out of the kindness of his heart, especially the fact that as an athlete, I think it was we got Andy Edwards MLS. I'm quoting him here. He said that you're an athlete and your career can come to an end at any point. You can get a career-ending injury and that's it. You don't get paid anymore. You have to find a new way. You have to find a new source of living, a new occupation that isn't something that you've been doing your whole life. And these people have been, players like Anuaha, they've been playing soccer their whole life. They haven't had time to hone the skills that are necessary, other skills that are necessary in the workplace. So that could be killer. So I think that it's a big thing for Anuaha to do. I'm just what I tweeted is that, follow me at Josh Bathtub, by the way. What I tweeted is that although it's a great thing that he's done this, where are the owners of this club? Where are the owners of Real Salt Lake? Why aren't they paying the wages of their staff? What are they doing during this?
Mm-hmm.
And I went on to say that right now this is an important time for all leagues in the world, but especially MLS, because I think that in MLS they drive home this community initiative a lot more than they do in other leagues. I've just seen it from a first-hand point of view, so maybe it happens in other leagues, but I feel like we've always seen these clubs say, we are Kansas City, we are Los Angeles, and we will be there for you. Now is the time for them to show that. Now is the time for them to perform on their community initiative that they like to say. Adding on to that, if they were to do this, this is headlining news because there's not a lot that happens. There's not a lot happening in the sports world right now. The Bundesliga is back. There's UFC. I think NASCAR's coming back, but that's about it. So
NASCAR's
any sort of positive
tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So any sort of positive news that an MLS club can produce, that's good publicity. And that's good. That not only looks good for the team, but it looks good for the entire league. So I think that now is the time. I think that if I were running a club right now, I would make it my initiative to put to keep my staff on the wage bill, but also seeing what I can do in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would lead to good publicity, which would lead to good relationships with the fans, which is always what's most important, I think. Because if you have a strong fan base, you can go a lot of places. And I think that now is an important time to keep that fan base, to keep them honed in, keep them reminded that we as a team care about your hardships and what you're going through.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say on that. I just think that the billionaires or millionaires that run these clubs haven't done a great job in performing on their community initiative that they so much like to drive home, and now would be the optimal time to do so.
Now, I think you're making excellent points, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying. However, I do not currently know the financial position of RSL, because I remember something coming out that they completely cut the salary of all their executives pretty much right away.
I can't. It was either them or just MLS in general.
Okay. And I mean, I don't know. I definitely agree with you. I think RSL's owner can definitely do better in this situation, especially considering the fact that the players are paying the wages. This being said, it can be a lot of financial strain on a club to be able to pay these wages. However, I do agree with you. At the end of the day, it's just not the players' responsibility, and they should not be the ones, for furloughing that, or not furloughing, but taking on that debt.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do see what you're saying, Jacob. I just will say that their owner is worth $4 billion. That's a lot, dog.
Yeah, I think there was a statistic, I think, a month ago about which MLS owners and which MLS clubs are furloughing and which MLS clubs are paying their staff. I don't quite remember, but a lot of teams seem to have the same response of we're not willing to comment at this time, which was really concerning to me. That is just...
I think the other hard thing that's hard to say about that is some of these MLS teams, And something I've read before in books is that a lot of owners of sports teams, this is coming from the Soccernomics book that I've read, actually do not make money on their teams. They do it for the benefit of the community, for the majority of owners.
Mm-hmm.
You think? Okay.
And so what's kind of interesting about this is that one of the reasons why Arsene Wenger is so well looked at in terms of a community standpoint is Arsenal is like one of the only clubs in the world that actually consistently makes money every single year. And given the size of the MLS and how, it's not always. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really watched a true game with Rio Tinto Stadium just absolutely sold out. It's hard to know what status they're currently in terms of financials.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you're 100% right. It should never fall upon the players. But that being said, if you're looking at this from a perspective of RSL and you're looking at potential bankruptcy where you have to eventually fire all of your workers and just dissolve as a club potentially,
then you're gonna put your club first.
Right. The thing that I think that they probably needed to do better was more transparency. And I think that's something that not all MLS clubs do a great job of, because now they're leaving people in the dark and they're leaving us open to these questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they were to come forward and there were statements that's like, we can't afford to do this or else we're going to have to cut literally everybody's wages here in a little bit, then at least that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's one of my problems with it. I didn't elaborate that well enough. There hasn't been any communication really. There hasn't. I don't think that he said why. Like if he came out and said I can't afford it, then I would understand.
But he hasn't.
I'm not saying like everyone who makes money needs to give it away. That's not like I'm not like a utilitarian, because I took a philosophy class, so I can say that. But I think that a lot of my problem is that I feel like these community initiatives right now would be the perfect time to act upon them, and if the clubs don't act upon them, then it just feels like empty promises.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. There has to be something behind MLS cares, right? Like
exactly. I think MLS prides itself on its whole "we are a family" kind of league thing. Right. I feel like that's like we as a fan of both MLS and the American national team. Like, I might hate Kyle Beckerman, but I cannot deny that he has been good for the men's national team. And I think that that's where the difference is in terms of our club and our league, and then like England, like in the Premier League. I'm a West Ham fan. I hate Harry Kane. I don't care what he does for England. And I have friends that are English and West Ham fans, and they hate Harry Kane no matter what he does for England. So I think that that's what sets MLS apart and what makes us so unique. And I think that now is the perfect time to perform on that uniqueness and perform on that. We are a family. We are not 32 clubs. We are not 108 clubs, because that's probably how many we'll have in 2024. I'm still waiting for my one in Boise. Shout out. First episode. Or second episode, whichever one.
Oh, it's come so far.
But again, now's the perfect time to act upon it. And I'm not saying, and I think that we need transparency. We need this sort of, instead of RSL tweeting the live feed of the 2000 of whichever year they won MLS Cup. I think it was like
2010.
Wait, no, 2009 maybe.
I think that was Colorado.
I think it was 2010.
I think it was 2010. 2009. You're right, Jacob. Nice work.
Yes, sir.
2000. Yeah. Instead of them live tweeting that game every couple of days, maybe just release a statement saying like, "We hear you. We respect what Anua has done and what all the players have done. We just can't afford it right now." That's what I would like to see.
And even if they were to come out, that's a huge statement for them to make, and it just clears the air.
Yeah, and I think that clubs will follow that.
Right.
Like, instead of them live tweeting the Western Conference final in 2013. I'm just saying that because they lost the MLS Cup.
Skadoosh.
Skadoosh. They got skadoodle on just now.
Yeah, I think you guys touched on pretty much every point that I would have touched on there, but yeah. Do we have anything else we want to say before we go ahead and wrap things up here?
No, thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. Check out our blog.
Yeah.
We'll tweet out a link.
We have a blog.
We have a blog. I'm finishing a piece right now on the best Americans in the Bundesliga.
I'll have to check it out. And where can I find such a thing?
Yeah, and you
Our
guys should.
podcast is now uploaded on our website, so that's kind of hype.
On the blog site, exactly.
Hey. Well, yeah. So this has been the 6th episode of the Designated Podcast. I just want to thank you all again for your support, and yeah, just thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, or I guess thank you for listening. Oh my god. But
Drop a subscription.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. Just get those and turn on the bell icon so you can get notifications for whenever the new podcast drops every Wednesday. Thank you all for watching. From Designated Podcast, this has been Jules, and I'm also here with Joss, Jacob, and Finn, and we will see you all
Oh yeah.
in the next podcast. Peace out.
Peace.